It look like you.
Everybody good? Everybody good?
Yes, we're ready.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Malcolm P. Ruff, Esquire. I'm a trial lawyer here at Murphy, Falcon, and Murphy, and I'm here with April Hurley and the rest of the trial lawyers that were on this case, Paris Holmes and my second chair, Felicia Fabulous. And we are here to announce that today a Baltimore City jury awarded April and Jonte Gilmore a $21.5 million verdict against Eden's Homes LLC and Property Pals LLC for failing utterly to vet, to do any background research on Jason Billingsley, a terrible, terrible, repeat violent sex offender who was able to use his position as a maintenance person with both companies in order to lure April out of her apartment, to tie her up, to abuse her by pistol whipping her and assaulting her, trying to choke her to death, cutting her all over her body, sexually assaulting her, and then setting her and the entire room, as well as Jonte, on fire, leaving them for dead in a rooming house on Edmondson Avenue, just outside on the west side of MLK Boulevard. Today is a resounding message that was sent by a Baltimore City jury that landlords cannot and will not be allowed to ignore their duty to keep their tenants safe, to make every effort that they possibly can reasonably to ensure the safety of the people that put food in their mouths and put clothes on their backs. We are utterly proud and thankful to the jury for making sure that justice was served in this case. We thank the jurors for their thoughtfulness, for their deliberation, and for ensuring that there was compensation that could possibly try to make April and Jonte whole for the terrible suffering that they have endured, that they still endure, and that they will endure for the rest of their lives. I'm extremely proud of our team, of their families who stand here in solidarity with us today, because this was a grueling, grueling 2+ years where April, Jonte, and the rest of us had to fight to ensure that justice was served. This is not something that we take lightly. This was a moment that lets everyone know that in Baltimore, when you are a landlord and you are entrusted with somebody's life in your hand, we will not allow you to drop the ball. We will not allow you to disregard someone's life like April's, who clearly matters. Instead, we will hold you accountable, and you must meet your duty to every single tenant. We can take questions at this time.
What was the trial like? I don't know if I can ask April a question, but just to recount that day and have a moment to share your side fully.
Good.
To talk about everything again in full detail in front of a jury, in a court of law it was extremely hard. The flashbacks, viewing the pictures, of my injuries, of Jonte's injuries. It brought back horrible memories. It was extremely hard to recount that day.
What is today like for you?
Today feels like justice was served, and I'm extremely grateful for the jury.
Ms. Hurley, you've been called brave to go through and talk about what you've done. Kind of following up on my colleague's question, how has this ruling left you feeling? $21 million ruling. How's it left you feeling? Does it bring about some resolution for you, some comfort, some closure?
Well, no amount of money could possibly change what happened, but it definitely sends a message to the property management company, the landlord, and other landlords and property management companies, to let them know that they should, follow the standards that are in place, and properly vet people that will be around tenants in their home.
Absolutely, but how's it left you feeling?
It feels good. It feels good to know that I had a team that fought long days behind me and Tay, and that gave it every effort to get this ruling.
Mr. Ruff, really quickly, why do you think the jury ruled in your favor? What do you think, what resonated, you think, in this case for them to rule in your favor?
I think me and my team made it very clear that these folks were utterly incompetent in their management of this rooming house. And I think it had a lot to do with where the rooming house was located. In the Black Butterfly, on the other side of MLK, where these folks who were making a profit from renovating houses and splitting them up into individual rooms, simply overlooked, ignored willfully and deliberately their duty to April, which was in their contract. It told April, which she relied on, that they would make every effort to make the premises secure and safe. They utterly failed to do that. They had no training formally in how to adequately manage a property, and they didn't want any training. In fact, one of the co-owners of the property stated he didn't care who came in and out of the properties. He didn't ask his co-owner, his business partner, to do any background checks on people that they brought to the property, but they absolutely knew and had to admit on the record that they knew what their duty was, they knew they should have done it, and they simply did not care enough about April's life, about Jonte's life, about any of the tenants that were in that building, as to whether they would live or die based on who they brought into that apartment building and into that property. And I think today is a clear message. Safety is absolutely imperative. Vetting, background checks are absolutely imperative. And negligence in our neighborhoods will never go unaddressed.
Are you surprised by the ruling?
I'm not surprised by the ruling. This was a depraved act, but it was absolutely foreseeable. It was absolutely predictable. And all it took was a very, very quick search through the Maryland Judiciary Case Search database to discover that this man had no business and was completely unfit to work in this atmosphere in somebody's private home. We know that your home is your castle. It is the place you are supposed to feel the most safe. And when willfully ignorant landlords completely disregard their duty to ensure that the place where you're supposed to be the most safe is actually the scene of a lifelong nightmare, they absolutely need to be held accountable. And that's what we did today. We proved today that our team, we take on the biggest fights and we win them.
What do you hope this does in the state of Maryland and in the city moving forward?
Well, I know it's going to send a message. It's going to let every single landlord know and be on notice that we will not allow this type of malfeasance, this type of ignorance, this type of incompetence to go on in our neighborhoods. It's about ensuring that there are standards. That was the theme of this case. This case was all about our business people in this city and in this state meeting the standards that we expect of them as a society. And they wanted to, in this trial, shirk every responsibility that they had. There were all kinds of excuses that the defendants tried to assert in this trial. But I'm proud that the jury completely disregarded those excuses as completely unacceptable.
How much of the award do you expect that you and your clients will be able to actually recover? I'm not sure if this is something that would be covered by insurance or if it's too early to kind of tell at this stage.
At this stage, it's too early to tell. I will tell you that we are actively working on ensuring that we recover as much of this judgment as we possibly can, and we will not rest until we get every single penny that is owed to Ms. Hurley and Mr. Gilmore.
And will it be split up between Eden's Homes and Property Pals, or how's it going to work?
Well, they were sued jointly, so they can settle this debt that they owe to our clients however they see fit, but the $10 million in punitive damages must be paid, and the $10.9 million in compensatory damages and future and past medical expenses to April must be paid, and the $10.5 million in compensatory and past and future medical damages to Jonte Gilmore must be paid in order for justice to be served in this case.
So, Attorney Ruff, I have to ask the 800-pound gorilla in the room question. What's this mean? You said this sends a message to the landlord in that industry. Wouldn't this also send a message to your political opponent?
Well, I don't have any direct messages to anyone who I may be contending in my race for state senate. But this legislative district whom I serve in my role as a legislator, which is that my leadership will always show up, whether it's fighting for justice in the courtroom or in Annapolis. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to show up big for those who I'm fighting for. And I guarantee that. And
April, what's next for you?
The journey of healing. Yes.
yeah, I want to just add on that. We have been representing April since just about a month after this incident occurred. And so I have been front row in her healing journey. And that is a journey that I wouldn't wish on anybody. The roller coaster that she has had to be on is just completely unfair. And today was just another step in ensuring that she got justice for it. But the days that she's up and the days that she's down, those are really, really tough days either way, because as one of our experts in neuropsychiatry that we called in this case testified about, she has reminders and triggers about this horrendous incident that live on her physically. Every single day she has to live with the memory of this. There is no escaping it. So I'm just really proud of April Hurley. As Mr. Murphy says, she is one of the most tremendous human beings on the planet. To have bravely and courageously survived this attack. Jonte Gilmore, one of the bravest young men I have ever met, someone who has had to be vulnerable as a man, and unfortunately had to suffer something that's going to live with him for the rest of his life. But absolutely, April's going to continue on her healing journey, and I know that this verdict today that was issued by a fair jury, a thoughtful jury, is going to serve very well towards her full healing and recovery.
Ms. Hurley, we see you sitting there as Mr. Ruff talking, your eyes tearing up. Where are the tears coming from?
I'm just grateful to be here, and I'm thankful that me and Jonte survived that day, and that we made it this far to be able to fight for this ruling. I'm thankful for the team that we have here at Murphy Falcon Murphy. Malcolm has been great. When he says that he's been here through every step, he genuinely has. And Ms. Felicia, Paris, Andrew O'Connell, Billy Murphy, everybody has just played such a big role.
These are tears of appreciation.
Yes. I'm grateful, and I just feel blessed.
We appreciate you, baby.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you guys so very much for being here. We really appreciate you guys ensuring that this message is spread far and wide.